Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In her new memoir, which was published on September 2nd, Sister Wives star Kody Brown is revealing shocking revelations. She talks candidly about her oxycodone addiction in the book. Openly acknowledging and talking about one's problems in such depth requires a lot of bravery. The reality TV personality opened up about her brief stint of addiction and how she handled it. She somehow made it through the journey, which was undoubtedly difficult. Kody revealed that following surgery to repair her meniscus and ACL, a doctor initially prescribed her oxycodone. She also described how a particular person was the primary antagonist in her narrative and the cause of her addiction. Kody revealed how careless this individual was with their family, never attending to their mental, emotional, or physical needs. Sister Wives, Kody tells us that she and Kody had sex with children. In her memoir, Kody revealed startling details regarding her relationship with Kody Brown. When the family resided in Wyoming in 1998, she disclosed 10 individuals occupied 3 rooms, resulting in a lack of privacy. Kody acknowledged that before having sex, she and Kody waited until the kids were asleep. They kept as silent as they could. She added that Janelle followed suit. Blogging Katie Joy brought attention to the section by citing Wyoming's regulations that forbid having sex with a minor present. Kody maintained that her children were usually asleep and did not know what was going on. Kody Brown talks about her devastating oxycodone addiction on Sister Wives. In her memoir, Kody Brown discloses that she was addicted to oxycodone. The ex-sister wife clarified that the physicians prescribed the painkillers after she underwent surgery. She was unfamiliar with the use of oxycodone and had never used it before. She used to take ibuprofen or aspirin whenever something hurt. Kody revealed that Maddie tore her ACL and meniscus and damaged her knee just before she and Caleb were married. Consequently, she needed surgery. Kody did not assist her when he took her home from the hospital. He didn't describe her aftercare regimen or how to take her medications. He simply handed her the pill bag without offering any guidance. Kody experienced severe pain from head to toe and felt as though she had the flu on the 3rd day following the surgery. When she took oxycodone, her agony disappeared. After taking the medications for a month, she felt completely in control of her life. She received a reality check from her daughter Maddie, who told her that she was a mess and that everyone missed the real Kody. They urged her to work out her agreement and become better. She eventually quit taking the medication after cutting her dosages in half. After she stopped taking medicine, she used to cry in bed, but her mother supported her during her difficult times. She felt out of balance for 6 months, even though her addiction barely lasted a month. She wanted oxycodone but refused because she wasn't herself. She was upset by the whole thing and found it difficult to handle. She will always be thankful that her children loved her enough to bring her back to reality. The one occasion Kody Brown raged at Mary and declared their relationship was over was disclosed. Oh no! Fans are aware that when something truly irritates Kody, she doesn't hold back. But it appeared like she was done with Mary at this point and didn't want to talk to her again. Kody contemplated whether to include this in the book. When it comes to this, a lot is going to happen. To learn more about this circumstance, continue reading. In her memoir, Kody Brown doesn't mince words. On September 16th, Kody Brown's memoir was scheduled to be published. Some others, meanwhile, received their books prior to that date. As a result, much of what she wrote is becoming public. When it comes to her latest work, it is safe to assume that Kody did not hold back. She has already authored a book, but never by herself. Always with her multiple families. Therefore, writing this book on her own gave readers a glimpse of what the poly family living actually looked like. She did not appear to be content for the most part of her marriage to Kody Brown. Few people are surprised by this, though. Our relationship is done, she reveals, yelling at Mary. According to Kody Brown, there was a moment when she screamed at Mary like no other. At one time, Kody informed Mary that their relationship was over. Oh no! Mary, according to Christine, was at the top of the wife pyramid. To maintain harmony, she made an effort to listen to her guidelines and justifications. That is, until she screamed at Kody one day. Kody attempted to purchase some form of confectionery from the store, but the employee found it for her because she was 10 cents short. Mary yelled at her because she was humiliated and embarrassed her partner, Leon. Mary's ranting at Kody for something she didn't even do wrong seems to have annoyed Christine. Even adults and children have occasionally been 10 cents short. Christine couldn't comprehend Mary's rage, and this wasn't embarrassing. She quickly stopped it, though, and informed Mary that she could not talk to her kids in that manner. How do you feel about this circumstance? Are you surprised? Comment below with your thoughts. Your opinions on this would be greatly appreciated. Kody Brown, a Sister Wives star, rapidly developed an addiction to the Schedule II prohibited narcotic oxycodone, a popular painkiller. After having knee surgery, this drug eliminated all of her symptoms. As a result, it developed into a tool that Christine used extensively while she recovered. Christine is now discussing this time in her life, and she's doing it through Sister Wife, her new memoir. Christine disclosed in her autobiography, Sister Wife, that she had been secretly fighting an oxycodone addiction while filming. She blew out her knee in 2016, as she disclosed on these pages and to People. I needed surgery after tearing both my meniscus and my ACL. After bringing me home from the hospital, my ex-husband Kody Brown was ready to depart. Despite Kody's failure, her mother and daughters remained to assist. I had never taken oxycodone before. Instead, I would take aspirin or ibuprofen if something hurt. I usually avoid it since real pain is a sign that something is amiss, and if I take something to cover it up, I won't be able to solve it. I had previously resolved the issue with the operation, and it was painful, so I took my medication, she said. It was immediately apparent to Christine that oxycodone gave me the best high I ever felt. I could do anything, and I was on top of the world. The benefits of this medication remained for at least 6 months, even though she was only taking it for a month. I didn't feel like myself. For a long time, I didn't feel well, she added. Christine was ashamed of her situation at the time. However, she emphasized that it is now time to revisit her addiction. Oxy is a terrible, addictive thing if you don't need it, Christine counsels her fans. Regarding a long-held theory regarding her family's relocation to Arizona, Kody Brown is offering her thoughts. The choice was made, according to Christine, 7 years after Sister Wives Kody Brown moved from Las Vegas to Flagstaff, Arizona, with his then-wives Christine, Mary Brown, Janelle Brown, and Robin Brown, along with the majority of their kids. The 53-year-old said in her biography, Sister Wife, a biography of faith, family, and finding freedom. About a month after we moved in 2018, we learned that Dayton, Robin and Kody's son, had been accepted to the university in Flagstaff. I was enraged. Did we migrate for that reason? In order for Robin to be nearer to her son, and me to be apart from my kids more? Christine, who has children with Kody, including Asipin, 30, Kody, 29, Paydon, 27, Gwendolyn, 23, Isabel, 22, and Truly, 15, agreed to the relocation, even though she didn't agree with it. I was furious, she said. I didn't want to separate the children from their schools and classmates. Even though I thought it was absurd, I chose to be open-minded about it since we were a family, and I wanted to be a team player. Why would we ever move our family again? According to Christine, who ended her multiple marriage with Kody in 2021, she felt the change would improve their relationship. I thought Kody would realize what he was missing, she stated in her letter. He and Robin had been together for a few years, so maybe the shine had worn off enough for him to remember his other families. On a 14-acre property, known as Coyote Pass, Kody had plans to construct a family complex for himself, Christine, Robin, Mary, Janelle, and their 18 children. But the site was never developed by the family, and earlier this year it was sold. The dynamics of the Brown family have undergone significant alteration in the years following the relocation. Kody's marriages to Mary and Janelle terminated after he split from Christine, leaving him living in Flagstaff and just married to Robin. In the meantime, Christine married David Woolley in 2023 and currently resides in Utah. When Christine thought back on the turbulent time in their film, she couldn't help but regret. Christine bemoaned what may have been in her memoir. In the book, she said, "We gone on television because we knew our family was special, so I wanted us to be special again. I genuinely believed that we would balance each other out. Coyote Pass seemed like the answer to me." Logan, the eldest son of Kody and Janelle Brown, was born on May 21, 1994. In addition, he is the oldest of Kody's 18 children. He married Michelle Petty 2 years after earning a master's degree in business administration from the University of Nevada in 2020. Aspen is Kody and Christine Brown's eldest child. Her birthday is March 14, 1995. Aspen, who also graduated from the University of Nevada, married Mitch Thompson in 2018. In April 2025, she made her pregnancy public. Leon revealed their gender identity in 2020, stating that they had previously been socialized as a girl. Leon, who also goes by Leo, posted on Instagram, "I was pretty young and unfortunately I grew up in a context that was incredibly gendered and restrictive. And here's the thing, I'm at last prepared to let the world see my best self. And that self is extremely unapologetic, transgender, and genderqueer." In 2020, Leon wed Audrey Kiss in a Colorado courthouse. In 2016, she wed Antonio Tony Padron in a ceremony that was seen on Sister Wives. The couple has twin sons, Archer and Ace, and a daughter, Avalon. Christine Brown's journey has always been one of resilience, heartbreak, and determination, but when she recently opened up about her devastating struggle with DRMUG addiction, the world was left shaken, not only by her candid honesty, but also by the lingering question of whether Kody Brown's toxic influence played a role in her darkest chapter. Because while Sister Wives fans have long speculated that Christine carried the emotional weight of being minimized and dismissed for years within the plural marriage, hearing her admit how she spiraled into unhealthy coping mechanisms painted a picture far darker than many ever imagined, and Christine herself did not sugarcoat the pain, revealing how loneliness, rejection, and the pressure of keeping a fractured family together drove her to make choices she now calls her lowest moments, choices that haunted her for years before she finally began clawing her way back to the light. And the most haunting part of her confession was the undertone of blame she placed on the destructive dynamics of her marriage to Kody, because while Christine took responsibility for her actions, she also acknowledged that living in a constant state of emotional starvation, being cast aside while Kody showered his attention almost exclusively on Robyn, created a vacuum in her life that she tried desperately to fill. A vacuum that eventually led to destructive habits she thought would numb her pain, but instead only deepened it. Fans of Sister Wives were left reeling at the revelation, particularly because Christine had always been painted as the strong one, the wife who, despite Kody's blatant favoritism, held her head high and dared to walk away, yet behind that brave exterior, she was battling a hidden storm, and she described nights where she felt utterly invisible, where the only escape from the suffocating walls of rejection was to lean into substances that gave her a temporary illusion of relief, a fleeting sense of calm in a world where her worth was constantly questioned, and while she never specified the exact substances, she referred to them as a destructive crutch that could have ruined her life completely had she not found the strength to stop, and that strength, she said, came from two main sources: her children, who reminded her that she had a greater purpose, and her faith, which forced her to confront the truth that she was drowning and that her family needed her to swim back to shore. But fans cannot help but trace the root of Christine's suffering back to Kody himself, a man who not only neglected her needs but also publicly belittled her desires for affection, intimacy, and respect, famously declaring that he was never truly attracted to her, a comment that, to many, cemented the emotional abuse she endured. And when one considers the cumulative effect of being pushed aside, shamed, and compared unfavorably to Robyn, it is not hard to see why Christine fell into despair. Because addiction, in many cases, does not begin with rebellion or recklessness, but with a deep, gnawing hunger for validation and peace that is never satisfied, and Christine's heartbreaking honesty peeled back the curtain on just how damaging Kody's words and actions could be, proving that his neglect did not just wound her pride, it nearly destroyed her spirit. For years, Christine has been the subject of speculation, with viewers often wondering how she maintained her smile while enduring such blatant disregard from her husband. But now, her revelation makes sense, because many survivors of toxic marriages explain that their outward strength often masks inner chaos. And Christine admitting that she fell into the clutches of addiction while trying to maintain a facade of happiness highlights the depth of her suffering, and though she is now in a much healthier place, married to David Woolley, embracing her independence, and thriving in her new chapter, the scars of her battle remain. A reminder that escaping Kody was not just a decision about love, but a fight for survival. Her fans have rallied around her, praising her bravery for speaking openly about a topic so stigmatized, because addiction carries shame, especially for a public figure who has been admired for her resilience, and yet Christine refuses to let that shame define her, instead using her story as a warning and a beacon, proof that even those who appear strong can fall, and that healing is always possible. But the central question that remains is Kody to blame? While Christine stops short of outright accusing him, her words make it clear that his neglect was the spark that lit the fire of her despair, and fans argue that his dismissive treatment of her, his failure to meet her emotional needs, and his blatant favoritism toward Robyn created the perfect storm, and some have even compared it to emotional abuse, pointing out that repeated rejection and degradation can be just as damaging as physical harm, leaving wounds that drive people toward destructive escapes, and Christine's own words echo this sentiment, as she admitted that feeling invisible made me want to disappear, a phrase that left fans in tears and convinced many that her addiction was less about reckless choices and more about survival in an environment where she was denied love. Looking back, Christine's story is not just one of personal struggle but also a cautionary tale about what happens when emotional neglect festers unchecked, because though she has emerged stronger, her confession forces viewers to re-examine the show through a new lens, questioning how much pain was hidden behind the smiles and scripted family dinners, and it forces us to ask, how many moments of Christine's quiet suffering did cameras capture without us realizing? How many times did she laugh through tears, trying to keep the illusion alive? In the end, Christine's bravery in sharing her addiction battle is not just about her healing but about exposing the hidden costs of Kody's behavior, and while she does not place the full blame on him, the shadow of his neglect looms large, making it impossible to separate her pain from his treatment. And though Christine is now in a better place, fans cannot forget that her lowest moments were forged in the crucible of that marriage. And as Sister Wives continues to unravel, Christine's testimony may be the most damning indictment of Kody yet, because it proves that his actions did not just fracture relationships, they nearly destroyed a woman's life. And the fact that Christine is standing today is nothing short of miraculous, a testament to her resilience, her faith, and her refusal to let Kody's neglect define her future.